Alright, a bit of a downhill, but let's just see. Hey, what's up guys? This is the Apollo Pro. This is their version 7. I got this off Indiegogo. It retails for $4,000. I got it for less because I got it on Indiegogo a few months back. But still a very expensive scooter. So I'm actually expecting great things from this scooter. Okay, so we have the manual, some instructions, how to set it up and everything, what everything means. Then we got the screws for the handlebar. We got this adhesive that you could attach to the back of your phone case so you could use your phone as the screen. This is the list of tools that it came with. So this particular one, I got a tool set with it. So a bunch of stuff, Allen wrenches, the extender, a socket, a pump, some screws, actually a whole bunch of screws in here. Comes in this nice case that you can zip up. Then we have the charger. It is 100 to 240 volts. Output is 58.8 volts at 4.5 amps. So if you multiply those two numbers, you get the wattage. This is actually fully metal, in case you guys are wondering. And here's the plug. And that's the plug that goes into the scooter. Here's the quick setup guide that comes in the box. It tells you all the controls and everything. You get the app with this thing. It tells you to open up box 1, the foam box 1, foam 1, foam 2, then fold this, screw it in and everything, lift it up, and this is the app. Alright, so let's do a quick walkthrough of this beast of a scooter, starting with the 12-inch self-healing pneumatic tires. They are pretty beefy, actually very beefy compared to the other scooters I have. We have the full light bar. We have the folding mechanism lock right here. So basically when you fold it in, it attaches right here, and then pushing this button releases it. I'll show you guys how to fold it momentarily. We have the nice rubber deck right here. We have the kickstand right there on the bottom. We have suspension in the back, we have suspension in the front. It is adjustable with this little red button right there. You spin that. So very nice folding mechanism. We have the light bar over here as well. We have the drum brakes. We have all these warnings. Basically, don't move it. Don't move the brake handles. Hold the handlebars at all times. We have a message from the CEO. And then we have basically an inspector who's inspected my entire scooter, checking everything off the list, which is kind of nice. It gives it a personal touch. We have another warning right here, styrofoam white marks. You can rub that off. This is for the folding mechanism. This is the part that actually goes down there when it attaches, and then you would release it with that button. And we're going to scan that to get the app. So to fold the scooter, you push this in, open this up, and then you have to release it like this, and then it'll go down. And then you could pull this part out, and then the scooter is not portable. I mean, I could lift it, but oh my god, this thing is very heavy, extremely heavy. So definitely not on the portable side. It does feel lighter than the Segway GT2, but I mean, yeah. Anyways, you just need to close it. If you hold it like this and try to close it, this part's gonna stay open. So if you just do it like this, and then that's it, you're done. For the controls, we have our rear drum brake, we have our front drum brake, we have our bell, we have the power button. Shows you the speed mode you're in when you turn it on. We have the M button, which is basically your horn. You could customize this. We have our signals. So when I signal left, this thing lights up, and then if I signal right, this thing lights up, and it goes away after a few seconds, 7 seconds or something like that, and then it just automatically turns off. We have our regen brakes, and then we have our throttle. If I hit the power button once, it will turn on the lights. If I hit it again, it'll turn off the lights. If I double tap it, it'll go between the modes. So 1, 2, 3. You can customize these modes as well within the app. And that's pretty much the gist of it. And then this is where you could put the quad lock case. So they're going to send me a case that's going to go on the phone, so I could use that. I can also use the little thing it came with to actually tape onto my case and then use that as well. So that's another option. So this is pretty much showing you guys what the app looks like. You could arm it from here. It shows you P, and then you could basically disarm it. And then you could click, you could turn off the scooter from here, actually, from within the app. And then you can actually turn it back on from within the app. It takes a couple seconds to do from the app, but it's actually kind of cool. You could do that. If you go to protection, you could say, oh, this is stolen, in case if it was stolen. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but you can activate that. You could see your battery and everything and the direction. So when you click connect, it actually connects to it. You click drive. And then this shows you all the important info, so your battery, your range. And then here's the interesting thing. So when I first got this thing, I was playing with, when I got it yesterday, I was playing with this thing, and I clicked lock, and then I clicked unlock, and at first it wanted a pin. Now it's fine. Like now it works with biometrics, but the first time I entered it and I tried to unlock it, it wouldn't let me unlock. It wanted me to basically use the pin, and I didn't know the pin. I looked everywhere for the pin and I couldn't find it. I looked in the manual, I looked on the scooter itself, I looked online, I couldn't find a pin. Turns out the pin was 6 8s basically, so 888888. That was the pin. However, there was a workaround for that. So basically, if I close this and I click close and I reconnect it to the scooter, I could actually disarm it directly from here and it wouldn't ask me for a pin. So that was kind of the interesting thing, that even without a pin, I can actually disarm it from here and it would actually disarm. So I reached out to Apollo. They got back to me the next day, which was kind of nice. I was hoping it'd be faster, but within a day is actually still very, very good for customer service. And then they sent me the pin. Again, it's 888888. And then it allowed me to unlock. But by then, I actually had already figured out how to unlock it. And then you could customize a few things. So if you go to scooters, you click on my scooter. You could go here, and then you could click change pin. And this is where you would type in that 88888 if you want to change the pin. And then you have some additional settings and stuff. So here's actually the riding mode, so you can actually change this to what the speed limits are. You could change it for comfort. So I changed all of these, and then you could change the sounds. You can make this is the horn, the M button. You can make it say hey. So if I do that and I go back, assuming it saves it, hey, so it says hey instead. So basically, you could change that. And then there's a few other things you could change basically from here. You can enable cruise control. You could also change the light colors from here as well, on the deck, on the stem, on the signal, and on the brake. So you have some options. You could basically make it dimmer and brighter as well. So it's kind of cool from that aspect. And then if you go to advanced, this is where you could set your acceleration response and your regen brakes. So you could play with that until you get it dialed into what you like. So I made this video about 2 months ago, and I have been riding it since then to get a better feel for it and everything like that. So this is going to be more of a review than a first impression. So let's jump straight in. So right off the gate, I am going to judge this based on its price, and to be fair to the budget scooters, because if we took price out, comparing this to a typical budget scooter, this thing is amazing. It literally feels so smooth, feels almost like you're gliding. It's way better built. It feels way better when you're riding. It's much faster, it has way more power, and just looks a lot better and sleeker. So price out of the question, that's what it is. Now, price in mind, let's get to the real review. So everything about the scooter feels premium. It looks premium as well. The lighting at night is fantastic. It's very, very visible. So definitely a huge thumbs up for safety because you're now a lot more visible to cars, which is very, very important. So if I have to ride at night, which I try not to, this is the scooter of choice, hands down. Nothing even comes close to this thing. Now, the regen brake and the throttle, well, let's start with the regen brake. The regen brake is a great idea and I love it. It works very smoothly. However, it doesn't stop quite as fast as if I had hydraulic brakes. And this thing does have drum brakes both for the front and back, and that comboed in with the regen brake, it does actually stop fairly well. But in my opinion, riding other scooters like the Segway GT2 that does have hydraulic disc brakes, those brakes do feel better in terms of in case of an emergency, I feel like there's a better chance to stop more abruptly with those compared to this. Now, with that said, I do actually really like the regen brakes. I do use it and it works very, very well. It's very sensitive in a good way. So is the throttle, by the way. In case you guys are wondering, the throttle control is fantastic. If you push it down a little bit, it'll accelerate a little bit. If you push it down more, it'll go more. It's really very sensitive to how you're touching it. So fantastic, very, very premium. And as far as comfort, it is incredibly smooth and comfortable even over the grass, which has superb suspension. I mean, the scooter obviously has superb suspension. I keep messing that up. It has superb suspension, and it does a phenomenal job. And the pneumatic tires really help with that. So it really kind of does a little bit feel like you're gliding. It's very, very smooth. I really like this scooter. So let's talk about acceleration. So there are actually 4 modes, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one is Ludo mode. And they all do a pretty good job of accelerating. Obviously, the Ludicrous one is the best at accelerating. However, again, keeping price in mind, it's not quite as fast accelerating as I would want it to be. Again, comparing this to the Segway GT2, and in fact, I will probably make a video comparing these two scooters to each other because this scooter is better in some aspects and the GT2 is better in others. Okay, but comparing this to the GT2 does feel and it is actually faster when you're accelerating in boost mode compared to the Ludo mode of this. Now, again, the Ludo mode is definitely fast accelerating, but again, not quite as fast as the boost. And just overall, the scooter feels very solidly built. So if you look at a piece and it looks like metal, chances are it actually is metal. Now let's get to the hills. I am around 200 pounds, which is 91 kilograms, so keep that in mind during my testing. And this thing just breezes up hills. I could literally stop at the beginning of the hill and it will still take me up. I mean, I haven't tried the craziest of the crazy hills, but for most hills that most budget scooters do suffer, this thing does not suffer at all. This thing literally flies me up the hill, no issue whatsoever. So when I am thinking about going somewhere with a scooter and there are some hills along the way, I do tend to lean towards this scooter or the Segway GT2 or sometimes the Apollo Phantom, but basically these more powerful premium scooters that have zero issue taking me up the hills. So going down the hills, I do max out at 40 miles an hour according to the speedometer, and it does feel like that. It doesn't feel like I'm going faster once I reach the speed limit. So I think the max is 40 miles an hour. In the app, I know you guys saw 44 and even faster speeds, but the actual top speed of the scooter, at least as of now, is 40. I haven't seen it go faster than 40 miles an hour, which is around 64 kilometers an hour. And when you're going 40 miles an hour on a scooter, it is kind of scary actually. If you're new to scooters, I do not recommend that at all. Even if you're not new to scooters, I definitely recommend wearing a lot of protection. I wear a lot of protection when I ride these faster scooters, a lot of protection. So just to be safe, because again, when you're going 40 miles an hour on a scooter, it's a lot more scary than when you're going 40 miles an hour in a car. It doesn't feel scary at all, but on a scooter, this feel again more scary. Now the reason why I mention that is because one of the things I'm looking for is to see how stable it is when you're going 40 miles an hour, and I'm gonna say this scooter is stable enough. So it feels more stable than the Apollo Phantom at those speeds. However, doesn't feel quite as stable as the GT2. When you're going 40 miles an hour, at least this is my personal opinion, this is how I feel when I'm going that fast, again with a lot of protection on. But when I'm going that fast on the GT2, it feels more stable than this scooter. This scooter feels stable, but not quite as planted as the Segway GT2. So keep that in mind. And maybe because the Segway GT2 is a lot heavier, maybe that adds to it, but just generally speaking. So with all that said, to summarize, there are 3 downsides to the scooter, really, if you want to think of them as downsides. And really the only reason I'm saying that is, again, because of the price, because this is not a cheap scooter. So the first is going to be acceleration. Again, it actually accelerates very fast, a lot faster than all of my budget scooters. But compared to the GT2, which came out for the same price, and the GT2 sometimes goes on sale for very, very low prices, the GT2 is definitely faster, and I was kind of expecting it to be within that GT2 range. Didn't have to be as fast, but like kind of within the range, because the GT2, when you're accelerating, it does kind of feel like you're getting pushed back. With this one, it doesn't feel quite like that. So the second, again, I love the regen brakes, but I wish they stopped a little bit faster in an emergency with the drum brakes. I mean, again, this thing stops better than most of my other scooters, but again, keeping price in mind, I was expecting it to be a little bit better. And finally, number 3 was I was expecting it to be a little bit more stable at the top speeds. Again, I have no problem going to those top speeds, but I was hoping it would be a tad more stable at the highest speeds. But there are a lot of positives. You know, ride comfort, fantastic, super sleek, looks amazing at night, very visible. Overall feels very premium, metallic. Well, metal, I should say. It's just a very, very well built scooter, and I honestly really like it. And part of the reason is because I paid less for it because I bought it off Indiegogo earlier on. So I think if this scooter was right around 3,000, I would say then this is a fantastic scooter. But at 4,000, it still is a fantastic scooter, but I don't think it's worth 4,000. I think it's worth a little bit. I think it's worth like 3,000. If that's, again, my personal opinion. Again, I still love the scooter. I still ride it a lot. Still very happy with my purchase. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. And as always, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.